doesn't fracture. Hey, doesn't matter.
It don't matter what they say, we gon' talk anyway. Bell rings, mic check, let the real ones play. From the legends to the new blood climbing the ladder. Welcome to the show, it doesn't matter. Notorious Dome set the tone, main event status. BDC bring a fire, every take savage. Strap facts with the knowledge, history splatter. Poppy planting a wild card, say it loud, it doesn't matter. No filter, no bias. This is the It Doesn't Matter podcast.
It is WrestleMania season, and tonight we're talking about the man who is WrestleMania. He might even be considered Mr. WrestleMania. From the very first WrestleMania, to slamming giants, to passing the torch, to stealing the show decades later. Hulk Hogan didn't just wrestle WrestleMania, he built that shit. So today, we are going to relive all of Hulk Hogan's WrestleMania matches. What worked, what didn't work, what didn't age well, and talk about some straight up BS. I'm your host. I'm Notorious on I Am Dom. I am here with StratFacts. I'm here with BDC and Poppy Platinum. Well, he's outside somewhere. So let's get right to it. BDC, when you think of Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania, what comes to mind first?
Amongst many things, he is the reason why WrestleMania still exists to this day. That first WrestleMania doesn't go off, WrestleMania fails. More than likely, WWF fails too. He was a large reason for that. Here we are. We're near WrestleMania 42 now. He was really only part of the first 9, and then he was out to 2002, and it was really the first 1 or 2 that really solidified WrestleMania and WWF as far as a wrestling force that we could even have a WrestleMania 42 now.
All right, Strat, what about you? What are your thoughts that first come to mind when we hear Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania?
I mean, it's because we're getting old. It's team old around here, but it's been so long. WrestleMania 42 approaching, but starting getting to wrestling, trying to be the young historian. All I had at the local video store was WrestleMania 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I rented those a lot to watch them over and over. Don't get me wrong, we didn't pay for them. They had a lot of promos back then. Buy one, rent one, get 2 rentals free. So it was always the extra rental. But I did watch him a lot. But yeah, Hogan was the formative WrestleMania guy. I mean, from the beginning for 10 years, almost 10 years, he was the original Mr. WrestleMania. I mean, and you need a strong basis to start with, and yeah, like we're here today because of that man. So he's very important, and anyone who thinks otherwise, well, they just don't know that much.
All right, well, let's get to the foundation. Let's get to WrestleMania 1. This is big. This is the first one. Vince took a gamble, and we got
Big gamble.
The Rock and Wrestling Connection. You got Cyndi Lauper. You have Billy Martin, who's your ring announcer. You got Liberace, the timekeeper. You have Muhammad Ali, who's the referee. And this wasn't just a wrestling event. This was the event that everybody wanted to tune in to see. And your first WrestleMania match, your main event, was Hulk Hogan and Mr. T taking on Rowdy Piper, Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, and they had Cowboy Bob Orton. BDC, how big was Mr. T at this time in 1985?
Oh, he was huge. I mean, I'm wanting to say, yeah, 18 was going strong at this point. At this point, he had been the guy from the Rocky movies, outside of Sylvester Stallone. He's the guy that put it on Sylvester Stallone really beat his ass. Beat his ass outside of Apollo. Came up Clubber Lang. He was big in the 80s, and to get him to team with Hogan was huge for that WrestleMania. They needed star power. They pulled star power as much as they could, but they pulled Mr. T in, and they pulled in Mr. T, who was big in Hollywood at the time. Paired that up with Hulk Hogan, who was extremely big in wrestling at the time, and just it just blew up from there. It blew up.
All right, Strap. If you take Mr. T out this picture, does WrestleMania, the original OG, does it still be considered the event at the time?
Absolutely not. There was sometimes, if you're make a good super stew, if you're missing one key ingredient, you just got hot boiled water, and that's not the situation here. So, everything plays a part of this. Hulk Hogan plays a part. Mr. T does. Cyndi Lauper on a different part of the card did. Billy Martin and Liberace, everything. Roddy Piper, his ace, Cowboy Bob, and Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. They all played a part in the main event of WrestleMania. I mean, there's not much else to look forward to on the card, but it all builds up to that one main event. That's all that matters for this very first WrestleMania. And without any of those components, it's just not a WrestleMania.
Right. And just think about it. It wasn't even really a match. It was a straight up brawl, a lot of chaos, shenanigans all over the place. But Hogan and Mr. T, they got the win. And just think about this. There's only 2 survivors left from that match.
Yeah. Mr.
The
T,
Cowboy
Bob
and
Orton.
Mr. T.
Cowboy Bob Orton, yep.
Well, he was just a side piece, but
yeah. Like and literally that's including every part of what we just mentioned. Rest in peace to all of them.
The biggest,
they're the only 2 left.
It's like you see something like the crowd at WrestleMania 3. You're like, how many of them still alive? Anyway, but you just look at it. I've thought about that. I'm very morbid. You just look at a crowd like at any wrestling show over history. You're just like, maybe one of these people could have had a real bad night after leaving this show.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, did you guys enjoy this WrestleMania 1 main event?
Oh, I absolutely did. I mean, my dad literally paid whatever he had to pay so that we can watch it. So I was just happy that I could watch wrestling on a night that wasn't Saturday. So, it was, as I said, it was huge at the time. I was a big 18 fan. I was a big Mr. T fan, even though he kicked Rocky's ass. But, I was a big Mr. T fan, so to see him in the ring with Hulk Hogan was cool for me. It absolutely worked. And back then I was a firm kayfabe believer, so I absolutely hated Roddy Piper, and I absolutely hated Paul Orndorff, and I absolutely hated Cowboy Bob Orton. They needed to get their 1-2, and so it absolutely was awesome. It was absolutely awesome for me as I guess, what was I, 10, 11 at the time, 10 or 11. Yeah. It was absolutely awesome.
Do you suppose that if it wasn't Mr. T, if it was a different celebrity, now you can't just plug and play any old celebrity in there. It'd have to be somewhat similar of a manner of a Mr. T, big Hollywood star, a big actor with back then, all you had to do is be, jacked, and people thought you were tough. That's why that's the bodybuilder mentality of that time period. So what if Hulk Hogan teamed with Sylvester Stallone?
I was just thinking that. Ooh,
Yeah.
Would that work?
Be big.
Alternate universe. It's like those what if comic books.
You know what? I would not put it past that it would absolutely work. I would say, They're both leading guys in Hollywood. They were both leading guys in Hollywood, and yeah, faced off together would have been great. I think it would have worked regardless. I think there wasn't much of a need of a storyline at that point. It was just you put the two of them in the ring. It would have. I think as long as based on the match, as long as Sylvester Stallone was able to get in the ring, throw a few punches, and look good doing it, it would have worked. And the bottom line is, like you said, the rest of the card may not have been that great, but people weren't watching for the rest of the card; they were watching for that main event anyway. So I think it would have worked. But like you said, there wasn't a whole lot of people you could put in that spot. Mr. T definitely being one of them. I do think Sylvester Stallone would have definitely been another. I think the list is probably at this point probably about 4 deep of people you could actually put in that role and make it work. I'm just glad that they got one of the right ones at the time. Because could you imagine they use like David Hasselhoff?
Yeah.
Was he big in '85? Was that Knight Rider at the time? Or that I thought it was later.
No, that was 84 was Knight Rider's first or second season. I think he came out in '84. So yeah, it was he was a heartthrob at that point. So, but like I said, it would not have worked if they kind of slotted him in there, unless he drove Kit in there and ran somebody down.
Imagine Mr. T was replaced by Carl Weathers. That'd have worked in that time. Carl Weathers, Arnold.
Nah.
Well,
you don't think Carl Weathers will work?
Nah.
Action Jackson?
No.
Well, I'm trying to think when did Action Jackson come out, but then again, he's also Rocky franchise, so he would have. I think it would have like 3 or 4 deep. Yeah, I can see him being on that list too. Like basically anybody out of the Rocky movies by that point in time would have worked.
Hell yeah.
Except Adrian.
Yeah, Adrian would not have worked.
Paulie.
No, Carl Weathers would have worked in the NWA version.
Oh, jeez.
Nah, they would have beat him bad.
Dusty and Carl Weathers versus Ric Flair and
Dolph Lundgren.
I could Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had the physique for it, that's for sure. I don't think he would have worked though, as far as really getting people's asses in the seats for WrestleMania. Like he did down the road, obviously he did down the road, but at that point, Terminator would have just come out.
Was Predator out at the time?
It wasn't out yet. Predator was after Terminator. Terminator is what introduced Arnold Schwarzenegger to the world. Predator was after that. I mean, I think that might have been, you might have gotten Conan the Barbarian, maybe.
I'll say you could have had Arnold and Hogan versus Piper and Jesse.
Now that would have been funny.
That would have been dope.
That would have been funny.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been funny.
All right. Well, WrestleMania 1, the main event, doesn't matter.
Yes, absolutely.
It matters.
Yes, it does.
Sure.
All right, let's get to WrestleMania 2. It was closed circuit. They was in 3 different locations. They were in LA. They was in Chicago. And weren't they at MSG again?
Nassau Coliseum, I think.
Oh, was it MSG?
No.
All right.
It doesn't matter where it was.
Well, I'm just saying, if I was a fan, I want to be at the venue where Hulk Hogan's going to be at.
Exactly.
So he was in Los Angeles. The main event of Chicago was, I think, the Battle Royal or Mr. T and Roddy Piper in the boxing match. And in Nassau, I think I mixed that up. I think Nassau was Piper and Mr. T, and Chicago had the Battle Royal with the Refrigerator.
Hall of Famer.
Fridge.
Hall of Famer.
It was a terrible
Hall of Famer. Yep. Good times, Fridge.
Yeah.
So you're kind of watching back the his induction or his being celebrated at WrestleMania 22. Being inducted was cool.
What a class.
Seeing him in the Crocodile Dundee hat.
All right, well, WrestleMania 2, Hogan took on King Kong Bundy inside of a steel cage.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan whooped Bundy's ass.
Mm-hmm.
He whooped him badly in this match.
Mm-hmm.
And there's blood. Hogan got choked out a little bit. Hogan's working as a heel for the most part. So, fellas, BDC, Strap,
Mhm.
what do you think about this match? Was it overrated or underrated?
Well, I think they really were trying to push King Kong Bundy as that big dominant star, and he was if I'm not mistaken, he was the originator of the 5 count. And he's just this big brooding dude, bald head, would be known for splashing a little person. Um, you know, I think they really wanted him to be that guy, that huge monster guy that Hogan would have to come in and conquer. And despite everything that says yes, I think the answer was no. I don't think that especially off of the strength of what happened with the first Mania, I don't think he was the right opponent for him in WrestleMania 2. I get it, like I said, I know what they were trying for. I just don't think he worked. He was good, but I just don't think that he was the level of star that they needed to throw him in for an encore from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 2. It just no.
Strap, do you think Bundy was believable? Can hear you. Can hear you,
I
pal.
don't know. Yeah, you didn't want to hear what I said about King Kong Bundy because he's a piece of crap. But King Kong Bundy was a very scary looking guy to me, and I did not understand why. And in the mid 90s, when he came back, he was less scary, and I just couldn't figure it out. But then eventually I did. It's because his eyebrows were shaved. So that's why he looked like a crazy mongoloid in the 80s. And when he got eyebrows back, he was less intimidating. But if was he the right person? I mean, it's tough. That wasn't my era to be around for that. But you look back historically, it's like he was a guy. He was just like a monster of the week, a monster of the season. And they never really harped on it in history. So it was just, I think it was, sometimes you just need to learn things. And WWF was still learning themselves. They were still transitioning from the previous era, the Superstar Graham and Bob Backlund era, even with the success of WrestleMania 1. So they're still finding themselves. But the nature of this WrestleMania 2, not just the main event with King Kong Bundy, especially with the 3-city gimmick, I think they learned things to, one, never do the 3-city gimmick again. It didn't draw as big. The name was still becoming a legend of itself. But they also learned that maybe the main event, we have the idea, Hogan versus a big guy, and that's what they used to capitalize on the next year's WrestleMania.
Right.
But as a standalone, it was just a showcase for Hogan and a young Hulk Hogan before he became the legend he is and was. So it was okay. And that's okay.
Man, they had the old school blue steel cage. Man, that thing looked like it could hurt back in the day, man. Like,
I love
that was
that
like straight steel right there. I missed that, man. You have to climb over the top to get the win. Or I don't think you can really escape the door. Nobody escaped the door. Everybody climbed over the top.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's no shortcuts during that. But after the match, Hogan,
I love those. I love that blue cage because it was like I always just imagine that one day somebody was going to get rammed so hard their head was going to pop through the block and never get out, and then they'd have to like cut it out to get them out of there. It's great stuff.
Yeah, it was good
great
stuff. Yeah, well, after the match, Hogan grabs Bobby Heenan and he throws him in the cage. Heenan, he's selling. It was just looked good. It was good.
Yeah.
Classic Hogan chaos. Fellas, is this rewatchable or you could just like skip it? Doesn't matter.
I could absolutely skip it. I would just say, I think to John's point, it did set up the premise for what would be WrestleMania 3 for him. I wouldn't have been mad if WrestleMania 3 was WrestleMania 2 for him. But in that regard, it mattered because they figured, like, you know what? We tried a big guy, just any old big guy is not going to work. So we needed to go with the big guy we have. And obviously that was Andre. As I said, I think you do that WrestleMania 2, you get a slightly more athletic Andre than you got in WrestleMania 3. Because by then, his body's already breaking down a lot.
Strap, what are your thoughts? Yay or nay?
Yeah, the selection of Hulk Hogan matches to watch. You can skip this one. I mean, to me, it's very famous. It's, because that's how I do things. I count it years by the WrestleManias and the WrestleMania main events. So it's like, what was WrestleMania 2? It's like, it's the one that's all it's known for. It's the 3-city one and Bundy and Hogan in the steel cage in the main event. But as a match, should you watch it? Do you have to watch it? No. There are better things to watch than than this main event. Mm-hmm. So no, it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, let's get to WrestleMania 3 in the Pontiac Silverdome. And I got this number embedded in my head because I heard Gorilla Monsoon say it numerous times. 93, or me and Gene, 93,173 fans in attendance. Strap, how many of them 93,000 fans are still alive, do you think?
Well, not the real number of 78,000 in attendance, paid attendance. But yeah, that's what a big graveyard that would be. It's currently the graveyard for Volkswagen clean diesel vehicles. That's a whole documentary by itself. Dirty Money on Netflix, I think. But hey, I digress.
All right. Well, we have the immortal Hulk Hogan taking on Andre the Giant. At this time, Andre the Giant is undefeated. At this time, Andre the Giant has never been off his feet. So this is history in front of these 93,000 people. Yep. DDC, we know what happened. Hogan, he slammed Andre, which is not the first time. Whew. Was this a great match, or was it just like a great moment for this time in the World Wrestling Federation?
It was absolutely, positively one of the greatest moments WWF had at that time. Was it a great match? No, because like I said, Andre at this point, his body was starting to break down. His movement in the ring wasn't as great. Hogan literally was carrying the match as far as any in-ring mobility at all. Andre was there as the big Hogan plotting villain. Hogan was the David to his Goliath, and it was his job to, not only beat him, but to take him, but to get him off his feet. And my God, he was going to slam him. So when that finally happened after he tried it very early in the match and Andre landed on him, when he was finally able to do it, that was just like the biggest moment that WrestleMania had that whole night. And then of course, leg drop 1, 2, 3, and it's over. But yeah, as far as a match was all right. It was nothing special. But that moment was everything for WWF at that time.
Strap, what are your thoughts on this match, Andre and Hogan?
It's another strong, they're all strong, memorable legacy matches. But, we were talking a little bit during the pre-show, I was mentioning it, that, if you have you can have two very athletic guys or two opponents, teams, whatever, in a match, and they can do an incredible amount of moves and athleticism. But if you don't care about the characters, then what does the match really mean? Did you enjoy it? It's like you can acknowledge, like, yeah, that was a very fine athletic match, a good wrestling match. But in the end, I don't care. I'm like, sorry, no offense to the competitors, I just didn't care. But with Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan, you care. You have an opinion. You have thoughts. You have memories. You have desires for one to win over the other. So yeah, maybe they're not doing wrist lock on top of hammer lock in a good sequence with a dramatic submission on the line, but it's a part of what wrestling is so great about. You can combine all those things, and then sometimes you just have an amazing match that goes beyond the ages. But can you just have, two guys? Maybe they're not great technical wrestlers, but they're telling a story. What was the story? Slamming, you can't slam the unstoppable big giant. You can't slam him. You tried, and look what happened. You got a 1, 2, 3 count. But so what's the rest of the match? And that's something as a fan I've always had a problem with. And that's what they say. Like, every match has a story. It's like, every match has a story. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, maybe the people putting the match together, the agent and the two wrestlers, have a story in mind, and they try to make it evident in the match what that story is. Oh, he's working the leg. Why is he working the leg? Because, the guy slipped behind him and chop blocked his leg. So he's going to work on that leg. He's going to soften up that leg, weaken that leg for his figure 4 finisher. And why is the figure 4 more effective for this guy than a different guy? Is because that's my move. That's my thing. I attack the leg. I put on the finisher that attacks the leg, and I'm going to win with that. The strategy. What's Andre the Giant's weakness? He doesn't. He has dizzy spells. He doesn't like his being turned upside down and being slammed. Slamming does that. He turns you upside down, and that can disorient you, right? So if that happens, he's disoriented. Then Hogan, what's Hogan's finisher? It's a big tree trunk of a leg, drop it down across your neck and your throat. Oh, I can't breathe. All you need is 3 seconds, man. You're dizzy. You can't breathe. You're paralyzed for the 3 seconds, and that 3 seconds is all you need. And that's how Hogan won the match. That's a story. It didn't matter if they did a hurricanrana or again, love that wrist lock maneuver. It didn't matter, because the story of the match was you need to flip that giant upside down and get air out of his lungs and pin him 1, 2, 3. That's the story, and that story can be told to anyone, just like I did right now. You think I wrote that down? I don't have anything written down. That's the story of the match, and every long-time wrestling fan can recount that exact story of the match because we know it, we've seen it, and it's good.
Well, who needed this match more? Hogan, Andre, or Vince?
Vince.
Vince and Hogan. But yeah, ultimately it's Vince McMahon, it's the WWF. They needed they back to that food reference. They had a restaurant, they needed a great dish served by a great cook. And and all those ingredients together make a fantastic dining experience. A lot of terminology is being thrown around here. But so Vince was the ultimate benefactor.
So what I need to know is, this is your bread and butter. You're throwing your eggs in the basket all in this match right here, Hogan and Andre.
Mm-hmm.
But you had a better match earlier that night between Macho Man Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I need to know what the hell happened. So, okay, next year we're going to WrestleMania 4. We're going to put the strap on Macho Man. I want to know what the hell happened after Savage lost that title. I need to know what happened that year. He became babyface. We know that. The fans loved him. They loved Elizabeth. But okay, maybe we're going to pass the torch and give it to Savage? What the hell happened? Do any of y'all know, BDC?
I can't really tell you. I know it was like a quantum shift, like where it was like we're gonna kind of ride off of this wave of popularity that Macho Man has got going. I don't know if maybe the writing was on the wall that maybe that Hogan was leaving, maybe he was going to start doing Hollywood more. I don't know, but they started to really kind of lean in on Macho Man a little bit as a face. But I'm really not sure of the exact story as to why they went in that direction after 3. I mean, we all know the craziness of the Hogan Andre storyline that happened after WrestleMania with which culminated in learning that Earl Hebner had a twin brother and Andre the Giant was champion, but he gave the title to the $1 Million Man because that's what he was paid for, and yada yada yada, turned to tournament and all that crazy stuff. Well, I mean, I don't know led them to make the move. Don't get me wrong. At the time, I thought maybe it was the right move to not necessarily do all that just to put the belt back on Hogan again. But yeah, I don't know what made them choose Macho. Never really understood it, but just thought it was the right move at the time based on his popularity.
All right. Well, WrestleMania 4, Trump Plaza, New Jersey.
Yep.
We have a tournament for the vacant title, like BDC said. Andre got bought for the title, but no, you can't do that on WWF programming. So we had a tournament, a multi-man tournament. So Andre the Giant with Ted DiBiase and Virgil takes on Hogan, and they got eliminated early, double DQ.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
5 minutes. Like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on here? You got the biggest draw right here, too big draw right here, and this right here, and Donald Trump in the front row, by the way. Yeah.
It literally felt like a passing of the guard. It literally felt like that.
They could have had Hogan and Savage WrestleMania 4. They could have did that.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't do it. So, Strap, what are your thoughts?
We've only made it past WrestleMania 3, and it's been 30 minutes. But anyway, Jesus Christ, guys. Not running back. Speed it up. I was just going to let it go, but I can't let it go. Okay, what happened after WrestleMania 3? What happened after WrestleMania 3? You know, the world is really fast nowadays. If in case anyone didn't notice, the world was really slow back then. Okay, so if Hogan had to leave, they had to shoot No Holds Barred, or he had to shoot a number of different movies, but I think it was No Holds Barred. And you think, oh, that's just like that's a movie's take 4 months to shoot. Man, back then, it was like a year long to do like one movie, and no one said it was going to be a good movie either. And so, Macho Man, obviously they already thought enough of him to give him the Intercontinental Championship at that time in his career. So he did lose it to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, even though that was a big moment for him, it didn't lead to a great legendary run. Everybody remembers him winning it. How about them title defenses? Ain't no one know about those because they didn't really happen, So unfortunately, the follow-up was really poor for that because Ricky, and we can all attest to being overworked at work sometimes, and he just wanted some time off, which was a big no-no back in those days. And so they just he lost it to the Honky Tonk Man, because they're like, who's the guy that we can rely upon? So who really wants it? Man, the Honky Tonk Man ain't gonna do nothing in his whole career, but show up. He'll show up. He'll show up on every show because he's the Honky Tonk Man. He ain't got nothing better to do. So that's why they gave the title to him. And Ricky Steamboat, he took his boat and went home to Hawaii, or he wanted to be with his family. We see him as superstars and celebrities. Well, they're real people too. But yeah, so they look around, they see who can be the next big over guy that can be the champion, be the country world champion while Hogan is out. Well, we got the Macho Man because it wasn't going to be DiBiase, you're going to have him be the heel. They didn't do that. They wanted the baby face. It wouldn't be Andre the Giant. And we just talked about Ricky Steamboat wasn't going to be him. So who else was there? Warrior wasn't even there yet, So it had to be Macho Man. They're going to turn him because he was the most over and most capable at the time. So that's where Macho Man was. And then, here we got WrestleMania 4, the big tournament. And Dom's like as children, what did we think? We're like, what the hell? Why? They had so much potential. They could have had a Macho Man Steamboat rematch if the tournament went a certain way. You have Hogan and Andre in the very first opening round. Why did they go 5 minutes? The reason they went 5 minutes is because they're trying to crown Randy Savage as the new guy. They had him do 4 actual real matches, and they eliminated the most logical guy to win the whole thing, the Vegas favorite, if you will, Hogan. They had to get rid of him early. They had to get rid of the only 2 guys, the favorites, heel and face, as soon as possible. And of course, it's a long night. It's 3-hour, 4-hour pay-per-view, whatever they did on or closed circuit. They had to stick to times back then. They don't care now. It's all streaming, right? So that's why Hogan and Andre, the favorites, were eliminated early. That's why Steamboat didn't make it very far because they didn't trust him anymore. So, but they did trust Randy Savage. And that's why the entire night was built up just for him, just for the Macho Man. So that's WrestleMania 4. And, it's called the rub, right? The rub. So Hogan had to be there, still in the spotlight, brother. But he had to give the rub to Macho Man. Also setting up this is how long the storylines were. That's why WrestleMania 5, the Mega Powers explode. I still remember the opening video. That horns. I don't know what the fuck that was. But the legendary opening thing for WrestleMania 5. And that's long-term booking. That's why it's the example of long-term booking. 2 years. We get Roman and Cody now. Finish the story. We're like, that's taken forever. But you know what? Everyone loved it at WrestleMania XL. Okay. But yeah, the whole thing was built out very specifically. That's why they missed the golden age of booking, because they could do things like this back then. And then came the Attitude Era where Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock were the biggest names the industry has ever seen. 4-year run, both of them. 4-year full-time run. Anyway, but that's WrestleMania 4.
All right, WrestleMania 5, like Strap said, we got the Mega Powers. They exploded all because of some woman named Miss Elizabeth. So Liz, she is neutral, trying to stay neutral, but Savage is getting all worked up. Long story short, the powers exploded. Hogan took the title from the heel Macho Man Randy Savage. This is Hogan's best match at WrestleMania so far. Guys, what are your thoughts?
I mean, what's there really to say?
Did Savage carry the match? Did Hogan?
No, I think that from my memory, because I haven't watched it recently, but my memory says that Savage did a lot of the legwork in that match. Hogan was there when it mattered, obviously, but Savage carried the majority of that match, which says a lot about Savage, that he can come in with a guy like Hulk Hogan, who is was basically trusted to just be in these high power matches, and Savage was actually trusted to kind of carry the match. Says a lot. Yeah, ultimately it was a storyline that started at WrestleMania 4. Basically their connection grew and then grew over the course of that year and then blew up around WrestleMania time. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I think Savage carried the match from my memory. But like I said, Hogan was there when it mattered most.
It worked, brother. Strap, did
It
you
did.
enjoy it?
It did.
Yeah, it was Hogan at the peak of steroid sweatiness and him being bloody and being the recipient of many macho elbows. And then him just hulking out. It was the best Hogan match up until that point. And it's the storyline, the match, everything about WrestleMania 5 main event, the Mega Powers explode was, I don't want to say perfect, but it was damn good.
It matters. WrestleMania 6, Toronto, inside the Sky Dome. We have the ultimate challenge between the Ultimate Warrior, Intercontinental Champion, taking on Hulk Hogan, your World Wrestling Federation Champion, title for title. They kept saying, title for title. I was like, oh shit, somebody's going to be Intercontinental Champion and WWF Champion. No, that didn't happen. They lied to us as a kid. But I remember this. I remember the promo. This is the first WrestleMania I seen as a kid because the little VHS store we had inside Stop and Shop back in the day. I kept seeing the poster on the cover, Warrior like this, and Hogan doing that pose right there. This is what hooked me on. This is one of my favorite matches. Like, oh my God, you got two of my favorites as a kid. You got the number 1 and number 2 guy. This is going to be the passing of the torch to the Ultimate Warrior. 5 minutes in the match, Warrior's blown up. We got more time to go, brother. We can't wrap this up yet. We gotta sell this. We gotta sell this. But I think Vince at this time was like, okay, let's try Warrior. Let's give him a chance. And Warrior got the win. Was this a mistake? Giving Warrior this shot right here? Give him this opportunity? Strap?
No, It was not. It had to be done. Whether it worked or not, that's not the point. Sometimes, you just it's the right place at the right time for the right thing, and that was it. Warrior winning right now at WrestleMania 6. That was the right thing for everyone. And the story you said, I've never heard that story from anyone but Hulk Hogan. So everything Hulk Hogan has an asterisk on it. So I don't. So that could be true. It could not be true. It can be embellished. It does make sense, but it's like, come on, man. Hogan tells lots of tall tales. But WrestleMania 6 for me was the example of the main event. It was just the perfect thing. That's it. It was just the perfect thing at the perfect time, and it would take years to match anything at that level. Some would say decades, but but hey. But I mean, I'll give it 100 out of 100. It's just the best, most perfect thing. I know WrestleMania 5 was awesome, but WrestleMania 6, this was it for me. This is the prototype.
BDC, was this a real passing of the torch moment right here?
It should have been. It was, as a Gorilla Monsoon would say, the irresistible force against the immovable object. Some people will say that was WrestleMania 3. Not really. But this was it, because at this point, Hogan was the bar, and Warrior was just this force that was just taking over everything. And that collision was meant to be epic. It was meant to be ultimate. It was meant to be all of that. And I mean, it was. I mean, you give credit to the people who got this thing booked up. You give credit to Hogan and Warrior for doing their thing in the ring. I give credit to the cameraman that took the shot of Hogan's leg drop to look like he jumped 8 extra feet in the air than he had and landed on his ass. That was impressive, because it was looking at him like, yo, I've never seen him jump that high, and it was nothing but air underneath him in the ground. It was great. It was like no one ever moves or kicks out of the leg drop. This is the when that happens, it's over. And here we are. Hogan's laid out on his back, looking like he done caught a sciatic attack all the way through his body. Ultimate Warrior comes through, splashes him in the back, and it's over. So it was. I would say it was one of the first real times where WWE played chess in the ring and actually checkmated everyone that was watching, because it delivered the way it should have delivered. It hit all the marks for people who were watching. They wanted to see this epic clash. They didn't want to see, like, even though Warrior blew out, you didn't want to see like it just looking like these guys were weak at any point. They looked strong all the way through. And the fact that Warrior moved out of the leg drop made him look almost indestructible at that point. So it absolutely should have been a passing of the torch moment. It absolutely was an epic match. Was it though? No, not really, but it should have been.
As a kid, I hated that finish. I still hate this finish to the day, because how the hell can you beat the immortal Hulk Hogan and he missed the damn leg drop, and then Warrior beat him with a damn splash? I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Well,
that's terrible.
as
But
I said-
I enjoyed it.
As I said, he hit his tailbone. He was paralyzed, and then Ultimate Warrior splashed him in the back. Splashed him. So yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Kayfabe, brother. Kayfabe.
Yeah. Well, I can say that this match is unanimous. It does matter. It definitely does matter.
Yeah.
All right, WrestleMania 7 in the LA Sports Arena is supposed to be in the Coliseum, but there's a lot of threats going on in the world at this time in 1991. So you got the foreign sympathizer, the Sergeant Slaughter. So we got real emotions right here. WrestleMania 7 is one of my favorite WrestleManias of all time, from start to finish. I enjoyed this show. And you had the ultimate babyface versus the pure heel right here. Strap, give us your thoughts.
I'm glad someone likes this WrestleMania. We talked about, I think we covered this in a previous many years ago show, but let's just talk about the match itself. It should have been one of the biggest matches all time. Like, it should have been another babyface match. How big would have that been? G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter versus the real American Hulk Hogan. But, we changed it around for reasons for their own reasons. And you had the heel Iraqi sympathizer versus the real American. That it's an easier thing to sell. I didn't like the I didn't like the match. I didn't like Sergeant Slaughter because I didn't like Mr. Big Chin there just sticking it out and doing his promos. I hated it. I hated him, which I guess works, right? So I hated him. And then Hogan, blood, blood can get really crazy. But you're Hogan blood again. I didn't like it. It's just kind of, I don't want to say gross out, but I just didn't like seeing it. And hey, it was fine. Like, the storyline was easy to tell, but I just personally didn't really like it that much. It wasn't bad per se, but I just didn't really like it that much.
BDC, if they did this angle right now, how over would Cody be right now? He got the win, but who would be the heel?
Anthony Ogogo.
Between him and
who would take
Iranian sympathizer? Rusev?
Nah, he's not getting a heat like that.
Nah, it would absolutely. I mean, technically speaking, if they did, I was about to say, if they did it now, it would probably go the way of Ultimate War of Undertaker, Muhammad Hassan. They had to kill that shit quick. they could not. It is a different world. They could not get over with that now. They just couldn't. It's different. It's different when you are just doing the basic stereotypical stuff like US, Russia. People are always going to kind of get for that, but when you have an actual conflict going on, no, somebody died for that. You can't do that. You just can't. You can't. But as far as the match is concerned, yeah, it was weird to see Sergeant Slaughter in the Iraqi uniform. It was weird in every facet because of Sergeant Slaughter being so pro America up to that point, and yeah, being on G.I. Joe as a character, even that they would then decide for some god awful reason to make him an Iraqi sympathizer. But to that degree, if we don't get that, we don't get the ever memorable Sergeant Slaughter "I want my country back" speech. So I guess you gotta do one thing to get. You got to get the payoff, and clearly him wanting his country back was the payoff after all. But it was a weird match because everything just felt off about it, because this is not the Slaughter we know. This is not the Slaughter we've come to know, and it made no sense why he would decide after all this time to jump ship to be a sympathizer and to betray his country and all that stuff. When you could have just had two true Americans just go at it, and best man wins.
All right. Well, I enjoyed it. It matters to me. BDC doesn't. Did you enjoy it? Does it matter?
I would say to me it doesn't. I think it was one of his. It was one of the weaker storylines for a match that he had, and it was one of the weaker matches he had, for me anyway. And you're talking about this is a year after he lost his first ever WrestleMania match, and this is what you give him. It's kind of like a alley oop. You're like, okay, we're gonna just throw this one your way. You don't have to do much with it. Just yeah.
All right.
It didn't really matter to me.
Strap, I know you said you wasn't a fan of it. Does it matter to you?
If I had to put together top 5 Hogan matches, this would not be on it.
Yeah, agreed.
You know who stole the show again? Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior.
Yep.
The key thing, the Macho Man.
Hogan
Ultimate
career
Warrior,
match.
Macho King. That was a retirement. That was a retirement match.
Yep. All right, so I guess this match does not matter. Let's go to WrestleMania 8.
Speaking
and
of
I wasn't a
doesn't matter.
fan. I wasn't a fan of this WrestleMania 8, Indianapolis, inside the Hoosier Dome. Hulk Hogan took on Sid Justice. And Strap, I got to correct you right quick. You said Sid is a 2-time main eventer WrestleMania. What does make him a 3rd time?
What was his 3rd one?
Let me this. Want to be Taker. What's the other one? Is there one more?
We could just stop right there.
Oh, that was it?
You tell
I'll
me.
take it back. I'll
Is,
take it
is
back.
King Kong Bundy still look like Bam Bam Bigelow to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, never mind.
I mean, hey, hey. I mean, see, let's go back. You know, you can make a top 5 list of mistakes I make, and one of them would be calling Hacksaw Jim Duggan a king of the ring. But he did beat Haku, and he wore the crown, and he wore the cape. So he did wear the thing. So the visual memory is good, okay?
All right, my bad. Play his fuck up.
Oh,
All right, so this match right here, this double main event, Hogan should have been fighting Ric Flair, but that's another story. We'll talk about that another time. Hogan fought Sid. When Hogan came down to the ring, he was like saluting the fans. This might have been his last WrestleMania match right here. When Hogan is posing in the ring, Sid ambushes him. I'm like, oh shit, Sid's bringing the fight to Hogan until this motherfucker did a drop down tackle. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you just taking the dude out. Next, you're dropping down, and he just takes advantage, and he rips his shirt off. He poses. Yeah, this match is trash. Point blank. I hated WrestleMania 8.
New Jack was inspired by this, letting the music play while the opening shenanigans are going on. I am a real American. Drop down, leapfrog, over the top rope.
What are you doing while the music's still playing? Like, take the man out.
You can only imagine that this is a technological thing because, the delay and the guy with the cassette player. Then, what's happening? Won't stop. And then the tape's doing that thing, like from Saved by the Bell. All the tape's going everywhere.
Yeah. Tape reel just flying all over the place.
Oh, man.
This is botchamania. This is where it was born.
Yeah, this is bad booking. I think it was bad booking. I think so.
Yeah, they're just, again, it was, I just don't think that they feel they had anybody that they could kind of put up against them at Mania at that point, and
they did.
They were pushing for Sid to be the next big thing or what have you. But yeah, I've seen all the WrestleManias. I don't remember this one at all. So, I mean, at least I have some memories of some of them. I have no memories of WrestleMania 8. So I guess that may be telling of how I felt about it. That I have absolutely no recollection of it. But Sid and Hogan should have been bigger because, like we've said before, Sid is or was a phenomenon in the ring, if allowed to utilize it fully. And at this point, they were just kind of building him to just be this deranged psychopath who had no rhyme or reason for much of anything. So it didn't really go anywhere.
Well, BDC, if you want to relive this match, they just put it on WWE The Vault on YouTube. It's out there, 21 minutes worth. All right, Strap, what are your thoughts on this match right here?
I had so many a second ago. Yeah, but the end of the match, they blamed it on the black guy, man. They blamed it on Papa Shango. He's like, they didn't tell me to go. I was waiting for them to tell me to go, and they told me too late to go, and I couldn't make it down there in time, But this WrestleMania was the end of the golden era. I mean, really. I mean, I know Hogan was around for one more, but this is really it, because if you look at the entire card up and down, even the roster that was there. And the side note, before I forget, I believe this VHS at the rental store came in the deluxe box with like the styrofoam on the sides to make it look bigger,
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, 92 was the biggest transitional. I mean, looking from the Royal Rumble, the legendary 92 Royal Rumble, and look at all the big superstars that was in that match, and just cycle it out by the end of the year, the early 93, man, like they're all gone. Bulldog's gone, Sid's gone, Warrior came and went. You know what I mean? So it was 92 was the end. of that era, and so, but yeah, it was a big botch of a main event. It was, in retrospect, or even during, like, it was not the right combination. I mean, the thing about what it should have been Hogan and Flair is that, Ric Flair, Vince McMahon respected Ric Flair. He wanted him years earlier, but the idea was, like, they ran when live touring was a big thing, and they ran with a couple Hogan and Ric Flair main events at those house shows. They didn't draw as much, so that's why Hogan was like, it's not going to be a good WrestleMania matchup. It's not going to draw, and we have this big Sky Dome type place, the Hoosier Dome, and it's like, it's not going to do it. And so Vince defaults to the big guys when business is suspect. So he went with a big guy versus big guy, the old Hogan Andre idea, right? Who's a big guy? Sid Justice. He's new, and he's very charismatic, and he's imposing. Vince loved that. So let's put Hogan against Sid Justice, and I still love Ric Flair, still respect the Nature Boy, but we'll put him in the world title match, that first ever double main event. But yeah, this matchup really stunk out the joint. Hogan came out. He was treating it like his last match, because you never know. You just don't know. So he really was treating it like his last match, as a farewell match, impending with the steroid trial to come. So, but yeah, it's a very memorable thing, but it wasn't a very good thing in Hogan and WrestleMania history.
It does not matter. All right, let's get to WrestleMania 9. Did you guys see the documentary that came out on Peacock last year, WrestleMania 9?
I did not.
Strap, did you?
Sorry, what was that?
Did you see the WrestleMania 9 documentary?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, and like, sometimes you don't learn things, like the Unreal show. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch it. I don't want to. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch it.
Don't do it. I will. Don't do it. But all right. So,
the biggest thing from the WrestleMania 9 documentary was Nick Khan was a ticket taker. You know? Like, ooh, man. Personality then, he ain't got no one now.
All right. Well, ticket sales weren't going so well, BDC, for WrestleMania 9, and Hogan wasn't going to be on the card. We want Hogan. We put Hogan in the tag team match with Brutus Beefcake. Brutus Beefcake had a jet ski accident, fucked up his face. Hogan, something happened with him. He might have seen somebody's fists, and he had broken nose, whatever.
Yeah, he definitely had a black eye.
Yeah, black eye. Excuse me. So,
got a problem with black guys.
Well, we want Hogan on the card. All right. Well, we put Hogan on the card. We give him and Beefcake tag team titles against Money Inc. And that shit was trash. It was trash. Point blank.
Yeah. I really, unlike the Warrior blowing up 5 minutes into the match, which I also believe, but I also don't believe at the same time. The story they told in that documentary, it's like, it could be more fluff and fill, but it's very believable. And that the card wasn't drawing. Like, here it is, WrestleMania. We have a new generation of stars. And that's what they were pimping, and because Hogan wasn't coming back. And they're like, and they found an opportunity, they got Hogan back, and then they started promoting the hell out of the show. And it totally makes sense that no one knows who the hell Bret Hart and Yokozuna and Luger and Mr. Perfect are. They don't know, and they don't care. They want the name brand. They want the Hogan, and they lucked into getting him, and they made a chicken salad out of this stuff. So
yeah. So like I said, BDC, you got to watch it. They said, "Oh yeah, we got Hogan." Then the executive said, "Okay, so how is he going to get the title?" Huh? So that's how you got that BS Hogan winning the title at WrestleMania 9. Yeah, just like you got something in your eye right now,
really?
Same shit.
Yeah, exactly. That bullshit.
Truly.
Yeah. That was absolutely horrible. It's like, oh my God, Yokozuna, this big hulking 500-pound monster, had to have somebody throw salt in Bret Hart's eyes to win the title from him.
And go. Just go.
Go.
I was supposed to get a rematch with Hulk Hogan, but never got it back. All right, guys. I don't care for WrestleMania 9 either. What about you? Did it matter to you guys?
Nope.
Nah,
It was
man.
it was the biggest cop out. I hated it.
I think I would just rent WrestleMania 6 again.
You can watch it on Netflix. It does not matter. All right, let's go to WrestleMania 18. He is back, and he's going against the most electrifying man in all entertainment. And me and Strap, we did a Wrestling That Made Us, which might come back soon. Never know. The fans turned Hogan. They were booing The Rock. Strap, get into it. This is your match right here.
Yeah, when you're discussing like Hogan and Slaughter, Hogan and Sid, and you're like, does these matches matter? Do you know what's to come? Hogan and The Rock, passing of the torch. Not exactly, but that's what they call it in reference in recollection. But I love this match. Unfortunately, I heard someone say, the same thing they did about Hogan Andre, right? It's like, oh, if you put the match on mute, then it's the worst match you've ever seen. I'm like, you know what? Then fix your sound bar, because that you need that too, man. That's the spectacle of the match. It's icon versus icon, and there's many stories around it. What it should have been Hogan and Stone Cold, or or whatever. But it was just truly an electrifying match, one of my favorite matches of all time. Hogan, all the pieces were just right. Hogan, the legendary guy, The Rock, one of the most over guys in the current era at that time, and they put together a match, whether they had a double turn or not. Echoes of years prior, echoes of the Stone Cold Bret match, where they turned during the match, like that kind of thing. Two experts of the craft. What more do you want? Like, this is it, man. This is it. And the only negative thing is, like, I wish this was in high def. I wish this was in 4K. They need a remaster of this, because I'm still watching it in standard def, cropped 4:3. It's like, no, this deserves an HD remaster.
Well, you need to update your TV first.
You shut your mouth.
Get 4K TV.
They need to release it before I get it. And then it's my duty as a consumer to get that TV. I put on that 65-inch TV with the PS4, and it doesn't even do HDR. I don't even know that. But that's okay. But it's a great match. It definitely matters. It matters more than most. That's the kind of matchup this is. What else do you want to say about it? Really, it's a great, great match.
Yes. BDC, your thoughts?
This is what WrestleMania 2 was supposed to be. This was what WrestleMania 4 had the potential to be if they didn't turn Macho Man heel. This could have been. This was somewhat what 6 was supposed to be as well. You had an icon versus an icon. You had two people who garnered fan reaction, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, and really had the fans fighting amongst themselves to see who was going to get the bigger pop. You had two guys in the ring who basically looked like they couldn't believe what was actually happening at the time. The Rock more so because some parts of me believe there's no way that the Hogan would get this pull. Hogan was looking around like, after everything I did when I dropped the E and went to WCW, they're still looking at me like this. It was epic. The match was awesome. The aftermath of the match would be something that you would see in TNA several years down the road. And everything about this match that could have gone right went right. Absolutely a great match. Absolutely one of the best matches of the night. Probably one of the best matches of the last couple of Manias before it. And definitely mattered in more ways than one. It definitely mattered. I mean, for starters, it let Hogan know that people were clamoring for the old Hogan back. Which you didn't really see much in WCW after he went NWO. He came back for a while, but then that was muddled. And it showed the WWE what it has been kind of missing. Even though they had the Attitude Era and it was so amazing how the Attitude Era was, it did show them a little of what they had been missing in seeing the response that Hogan got in that match.
This match is definitely a must watch. Watch with the
Yep.
sound off. Watch with the sound
Absolutely.
on. Whatever you do, you're gonna enjoy it. This match definitely matters.
Yep.
Now let's get to this final WrestleMania match. WrestleMania 19. He's going against the creator of WrestleMania, Vince McMahon. Strap, give us a rundown.
Well, this was leading up to WrestleMania. I mean, that's why the day of WrestleMania can change often, because leading up to this WrestleMania 19, this was promoted as the main event. It did not headline remember, this is one night WrestleMania, so it did not end the show. But it was promoted as the biggest thing, Hulk Hogan versus the guy who really created Hulkamania, Vince or Hogan, And I think they made a bigger deal out of it than the fans did. Like, the fans didn't care. Like, who made it? But Vince was, an active competitor somewhat at the time. So he thought it was a big match. He thought it was a big deal. I didn't think it was a big deal. But hey, what are you going to do? Put Hogan over one of the current talent? Not a chance. So this was just, not a celebrity match, but a spectacle featured match. But as it was, Vince is a special kind of in-ring performer, and Hogan is, he's getting older. He's very limited, and they had a wild match. It's like akin to a street fight kind of match, and Vince McMahon had one of the most memorable camera shots in history, just bloody and peering over the bottom rope with that maniacal look. It was tremendous, and it featured some nice surprises. You got the return of the rowdy one, Mr. Piper, and that was a big pop. But yeah, it was one of the 4 featured main events at that WrestleMania. It's not something I revisit. Again, it's not my cup of tea. But it wasn't that bad either. Was it? Let's put it this way: is it better than Hogan Slaughter? Nah, I'll go for a classic Hogan over that. Is it better than Sid versus Hogan? Yes. Is it better than the WrestleMania 9? Yes. So it's right in the mid tier of Hulk Hogan WrestleMania matches for me.
BDC,
What he said. Simply what he said is like, you want to know who created WrestleMania, or who created Hulkamania? This is going to be a main event. You want to know who created it? You're no longer the main event. We're going to put you like 5th card, the 5th match down. That's who created Hulkamania, buddy. It was okay for what it was. It was okay for what it was. It was a dream match for some people, being as though, Vince McMahon ended up in so many of the matches with the higher echelon talent in the late 90s, whether it be Rock or Stone Cold or even Taker. He ended up, facing off against the top guys at one point in time, and you had to know at some point he was going to be facing off against the top guy when he made his return, and that was Hulk Hogan, and here we have it. So, I mean, it is what it is. Not much more than that. It is what it is.
I can say this WrestleMania 19 match, Hogan's last WrestleMania match, it definitely does matter.
Only because it was his last match.
That's it. All right, fellas. Well, you can either love him, hate him, debate him all you want, but when you think of WrestleMania, you have to think about the immortal Hulk Hogan. He was the beginning, and we're going to be talking about him till the end of our time, basically.
Yep.
He left a lasting impression. He left a legacy, which is WrestleMania.
Yep.
All right. Well, go ahead.
For a guy who literally up until last year held the record for most main events out of 41, he's held the most main events. That's saying a lot about exactly what Hulk Hogan means to WrestleMania. That absolutely says a lot about him.
This is true. Well, next week is still WrestleMania season. kicking off the month of April with a little NXT TakeOver Dallas. Ringside is going to be, he's going to be back. I'm going to run through this card right quick. We're going to kick it off for the NXT Tag Team title match. We have American Alpha, Chad Gable and Jason Jordan taking on the Revival, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, which is also known as FTR. After this, we have John's boy, Austin Aries, taking on Baron Corbin. After this, we have Shinsuke Nakamura, when Nakamura was good, take on Sami Zayn. And then for your NXT Women's Championship, we have Asuka taking on Bayley. You already know what happened there. Yep. And then your main event for NXT Championship, we have Finn Balor taking on Samoa Joe.
Yes. You know what happened there, too.
TakeOver Dallas. I can't wait. I was supposed to be there, but that was a rough year for me. I had to sell my tickets. But life happens. We'll talk about it next week. If you guys like the show, remember, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. We're going to keep bringing more content. The madness is about to end soon. The women's is finishing up soon. You already know.
Yep. And for everyone who has been following us on podcasts through like Spotify and stuff like that, we've now added iHeartRadio to that. So you can find us on iHeartRadio as well now. Outside of YouTube, outside of all that fun stuff, iHeartRadio is another place where you can find the It Doesn't Matter podcast. So look for us there. Subscribe there as well.
Damn right. Strap, any final thoughts for you?
What you gonna do if you don't follow the It Doesn't Matter podcast on iHeartRadio, brother?
Well, I am Dom. I'm here with Strap. I'm here with BDC, and we will see you guys next week. Boom.